Hey guys, what is going on? Ephemeros here. So, we are back again today. And actually reacting to a new creator. I actually, well, I wouldn't say I met them. It's just like a huge exaggeration. No. I found them on my obviously, YouTube has a page, like obviously like your recommendations basically. And this guy named Azmeross was streaming, and I was like, oh shit, someone's playing like Monster Hunter. I don't know if it was, I don't know if it was Gen 4. Oh wait, no, not, I think Frontier, yeah, Frontier, I think. And I tuned in for a little bit. I was there for like maybe 20 minutes, oh, 20 or 30 minutes, whatever, doesn't matter. But yeah, it was a chill ass stream. But it is funny though, because now it's looped back around to like people in my Discord server. Also, yes, Discord server is open for come hang out for anyone wanting to join. And yes, it's not exclusively Monster Hunter, of course. Right now, I'm just like, obviously I'm leaning a bit more into like catering, of course, to Monster Hunter fans. Which, hey, fair enough. I love the franchise. They seem like lovely people. The game is absolutely interesting. But hey, come hang out. I will put the link in the description for anyone who wants to join. Anyhow, today we will be reacting, and yes, I did already tell you about the creator, to first gen Herbivores. So this was recommended by one, like a person in my, because I have a recommendations whatever, I suppose call it a recommendations tab. And let me just read it. This one. This is by Armando. He said this would be a great reaction. It's the first video in a new series, so I'm actually kind of caught up this time, not like the ecology videos where I'm super late. And all the reactions you're seeing with like the ecology videos that I'm going through are the first time I'm ever watching it. Only 2 videos are out at this point, so you can catch up immediately, and then we can tell you whenever a new one comes next. This is cool. Also, yes, I get it's like for some people, this might be a slightly more boring topic, like because we're not talking about the super cool dragon or whatever might have you with sharp teeth, and they can do all this, and maybe they can dish out fireballs. No, we're observing the more timid life of Monster Hunter that's obviously been present throughout the games. Without herbivores, you cannot really sustain an actual like environment. The predators gotta prey on something. Although I will say there is this cool phenomenon in where I think it was, I don't know if it was Hawaii or whatever. Like they have these like carnivorous caterpillars. It's insane because like they don't have any prey, so there's kind of a hyper specialization that happened. I only say that, I don't know if that's an actual term, but since they don't have any predators there, the caterpillars instead are the ones that opted to grow a predatory habit. It's kind of crazy. Like you can search it up if you want. I forgot the caterpillar's name, but like it looks kind of horrifying. It's got these like huge, I wouldn't say pincers, but like it has these like huge apparently modified legs, quote unquote, that like they used to stab and catch prey. It's kind of crazy. Anyhow, let's get into this. Quality, okay, 720p. Also, Azmeross, if you don't want this video on my channel and you want it taken down, hey, just tell me, or maybe just comment on my video. I'll take it down immediately. Hey, you gotta remember, bro, they're the creator. They're the creator. I'm just reacting to their video. Right? I got no right to keep it on my channel or anything. Anyhow, let me check if you guys can hear the audio.
Well, that definitely took a little
Okay.
longer than I was originally.
Yeah, you can. Okay. What else was I gonna say? Oh, whatever. This intro's gone on for too long. Let's get into it.
Well, that definitely took
Fucking
a
hell.
little longer than I was originally expecting.
What is this? What? I'll bring my fucking greeting. What? Greetings, hunters. I just wanted to put up an update that I'm going to be only posting. Oh, it's his post. One Monster Hunter ranking short per week every Friday for a while, as I'm just starting to put some serious time and work into an actual full-length video. Wow. Yeah, dude, like if we're talking a video, like usually like a video essay, right, or whatever might have you, that's like made from your like your own digital resources and your own whatever. Yeah, that takes time, bro. That does take time. And the fucking first video essay I made took like 3 days. I don't know if it was 3 days or more. Right, just me just editing, cutting, putting a bunch of shit together. And it was kind of obviously for a first time video. Obviously, yes, it was kind of scrappy. I was still proud of it, anyways. But yeah, good luck with that, bro.
But it's finally done. Thank you all so much for your patience. And any comments I got over the last couple of weeks wondering about this video's progress were just so cool to see. Thank you all so much.
Hey, I didn't even know this channel existed like before tuning into the live stream. But hey, I'm glad you completed that.
This video was a hell of a learning experience for me, but I do feel like I can hone this process and make any after this even better. But I'm gonna
For
need
sure.
your guys' help on some of that. Comment any thought you guys have on this video. Truly, nothing is off limits here. If something works, doesn't work, or needs more work, please let me know. Trust me, I only want to make these better. And I feel like you guys can help me a lot in this. But for now,
I like it. That's good. Involving your viewers and like growing the channel. I like it. Well, not just growing the channel. I mean, like actually growing this sort of series that he's making. Really cool.
gonna start planning out the next one of these bigger projects. And thank you all
Also, what is this great sort of gameplay? This goes crazy.
so much. Enjoy the rest of the video. And as always, guys, good hunting.
Disclaimer: this video is not a documentary. My idea with this video and this thereafter is to tell the perspective of a seasoned hunter called upon to teach new recruits. Oh yes. That's fun. Someone did mention that like his style of like going about it is more like teacher to student. I treat the creatures and scenarios mentioned with a level of realism as though you would be sent to deal with them while still maintaining the fantasy of it all. Dude, I fuck with this heavy, bro. I aim to be as accurate and respectful to the source material as possible throughout. I do take liberties to fill in gaps where the official lore is silent or unclear. Tape, fair enough. These changes and assumptions are made to aid in deeper I'm guessing that says immersion. I'm sorry, I'm looking at this from my recorder, but hold on. Oh yeah, immersion. Okay, okay. Of the goal of to aid deeper in the in deeper immersion of the goal of this video. What? Hold on, sorry. Unclear. These changes and assumptions are made to aid in deeper immersion of the goal of this video. I'm sorry, that just read. I don't know if that's fucking with my brain. Sorry. I highly recommend any of you that are curious to dive into whatever lore you can find that helped in the creation of this video. Of course. Okay. This is the way he's gonna go about this is really cool though. Like in terms of like just description alone, already really cool.
Hello there, everyone.
Hi.
My name is Azmeross.
Hi,
Lately,
Azmeross.
I have been given a quest that could turn out to be the most daunting I am ever going to undertake. The guild recently
Oh shit, it's not even full volume. Sorry. Adjust your volume accordingly now. I turned it up. Okay.
sent me a letter. At first, I thought nothing of it. Thought it was just another quest like any other day. But curiosity got the better of me, and I eventually did read it. Now, I was surprised
Okay.
by its contents at first, but one thing you should know about me is that above all, I am not one to back down when called upon, so here we are. The guild, in its definition of wisdom, has seen fit to make me your new and official teacher.
The little cut frame to him, like, frantically waving, like, hi, hi, hello.
Or
That's
wait, sorry,
funny.
did they say instructor? Or was it mentor? I'm not really sure. Look,
Hey, either works.
I'm gonna be honest with you all, the specifics don't really matter, but the intention behind it is what does. The number of new recruits looking to become hunters has only been increasing by the day in recent times.
You know, we could technically put me into that category.
Hear that with the seemingly never-ending reports of new monsters being discovered, the guild decided it was high time to change their approach to just a few things. Instead of throwing you all into the field blindly and seeing which of you managed to figure it out for yourselves, it's been decided that a little more preparation would do.
Oh my god, I'm sorry, that is a reckless decision. What? I'm sorry, if you're not teaching the hunters, like, actually, right, in terms of, like, let's be real for a second. The survival rates would be high. Oh, not high, actually, like, extremely low. Holy shit.
The world of good.
You're just throwing them out there.
And that is where I come in. My job is pretty simple. On paper, at least. I'm here to teach you all there is to know about the monsters you're going to be sent out to deal with. But most importantly, how to stay alive doing it.
Bro, this animation is... I can't, bro. This is hilarious.
Enough to call myself a hunter for more than a decade now.
Me and third gen.
If anything I've learned in that time can help you all on your journeys, then let's not waste any more time, shall we? And I hereby welcome you all to the very first class of the Monster Hunter Academy.
Here we go. Oh, come on. Tell me that's not raw. Oh my god, what? Is this an intro? Listen! Oh my god! Nah, props to the intro. Amazing. You must have had to mesh so many video clips together. Holy shit. Dude. Like, they're melting into each other, right? Or like, they're melting over one another. It's really fucking cool. Platron. Oh, man. Monobloss? Desert Pirate, okay. Monster Hunter Academy. Oh, yes. Dude, solid fucking intro. Holy shit. Nah, 10 out of 10. Peak.
Now, let's get a few things settled just before we get started.
Okay.
I am sure plenty of you, if not most, already have at least some experience as a hunter. Maybe you've even got the scars to prove it, and that's no problem at all. But for the sake of keeping these classes simple, I will be acting as though all of you are new recruits needing to learn the basics of being a hunter.
Fair?
With that settled,
Fair.
we can start the lesson for real. As new recruits, the only quests you're going to be assigned for a while will be mainly focused on gathering. Things like herbs, mushrooms, and insects on occasion. It isn't exactly glamorous work by any means, but it keeps the merchants happy and many guild facilities well supplied. These gathering quests will keep you all busy for a couple of weeks, but will also filter out any of you who don't like taking orders, because I know there's a few of you.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Oh, hell no. No. If you're like, okay, if you're tasked with like gathering herbs, all of a sudden you're trying to fight a fucking Anjanath, you're like, okay, bro. Maybe you're not cut out.
If you manage to complete enough of these quests
I am
while
guilty
having
of that,
all of your limbs exactly where they should be, the guild will
Great.
start to take you just a little bit more seriously. That's right, you finally get to hunt some actual monsters.
Oh, yeah.
But don't get
cool.
too excited just yet. Completing a few quests, gathering herbs and such things is all well and good, don't get me wrong. But now that we know you might actually be serious about becoming a hunter, we need to make sure you can actually point your weapon the right way. There are a few ways of making sure of this at the beginning, such as the training arena. Here you can hone your fundamentals or even experiment with weapons you might not have considered. But one of the better ways is to actually send you out after a monster, as they have a habit of getting out of the way. Don't worry, we're not going to be sending any of you after something that has a chance of leaving you as a pile of ashes and lost dreams on the floor.
Yep.
No. The monsters that you will all be seeing are actually the subject of today's class, in fact. And those are the herbivores.
Yeah.
Feel free to ask any hunter you want. These monsters may not seem like much, but they are your first real step to becoming hunters, so keep that in mind throughout. But
I mean, yeah, the literal term, well, not literal term. I don't fucking know the definition of it, right? But if you're a hunter, that includes herbivores. Okay, well, I don't know. People like to eat deer, right? Like veal or whatever.
let's keep things nice and basic for now and answer a very simple but important question. What is a herbivore? The term herbivore refers to an entire group of monsters that mainly feed on plants. Seems pretty vague, I'll admit, but I will elaborate. This class contains a wide range of beasts that come in all kinds of shapes and sizes.
Super
But what
cool.
defines this class is that whether reptilian or mammalian, to be classed as a herbivore, the beast must meet the following criteria established by the guild. Their diet is mainly composed of vegetation. They have dense population counts, and they pose no threat at all to hunters or settlements. This
I would say the third one is nuanced, right? Some herbivores can defend themselves, and like, well, okay. I suppose by defending themselves, that would still mean they're harmless by nature. Do Kestodons count then? Because they just, I don't know. Okay, well, whatever.
criteria is very important to keep in mind, everybody, because you're going to encounter more than a few monsters that may meet one or even two of these
Eats plants, uncommon and annoying for the Bullfango. Hilarious.
criteria, but if it doesn't check all three, it doesn't count, and trust me when I say this, that matters. What?
Ah, fair enough.
You don't believe me? Okay, here's a quick example. Let's use the Epioth and, I don't know, the Diablos. Both of these two mainly eat plants found in their local habitats.
Really? I suppose your meat isn't so readily available.
Both of these two are pretty common to see in their respective territories.
Okay.
But the Epioth are harmless and completely non-aggressive towards you in any way. And as for him, let's just say he doesn't like sharing. Alright, getting back on track. For each monster we are going to be studying, I will be covering the following categories for each of them. These are just to break things down and make them more digestible for all of you.
Fair.
The first of which is their physical features. Any typical physical characteristics or notable features you need to know about. Their typical behavior or general temperament. Where you're most likely to find them. How they handle predators or how they hunt depending on the monster. And the final category is what I call the Hunter's Guide. This is where I'm going to go over the notes I have on actually hunting the monsters, such as their notable weak points that you can exploit, and any general information that the previous areas don't cover. So,
this is a good template, wow.
With all of that in mind, I decided that the best place to start this very long journey of ours is at the very beginning. Profound, I know. The monsters we will be discussing today are those from the very first generation's records, just to keep things nice and simple. So I think the safest starting point would be the most recognizable and well-known herbivore of them all. And that is the Aptonoth.
Yes!
I know plenty of you are very new.
I love that these guys stuck around. I like that. That's really cool.
Here. But I would be very surprised if you hadn't at least heard of an Aptonoth on your travels. If you've ever wandered the outskirts of most settlements, or even just made a visit to the local merchants, you've likely already seen one of these creatures. They're well known, they're reliable, and they're all over the place. The Aptonoth is one of the most well-known herbivores on record. To such an extent, I don't think anyone would argue with me saying that the Aptonoth is the face of the herbivore class in its entirety. Now, I also imagine...
Honestly, gonna kinda have to agree with that.
Imagine more than a few of you are thinking, wow, we're really starting with this guy? Not something just a little bit more exciting? And yes, we are. Yeah, I will agree.
Bro, I'm sorry, herbivores are not that, like, I suppose you could, whatever terms you can find, not really that cool. And by cool, I'm saying obviously, like, we're, on this channel, obviously we want to consider what's actually, like, really, like, has a lot of depth, or what just has a lot of cool. And, like, sure, it can be a mix of both, right? That's fair enough. But at the same time, bro, mostly, herbivores are just, like, do they have depth? Yes, of course. They're animals. They're animals, bro. What I'm saying is that it's not as cool because you don't get to see them, like, go crazy or, like, fight or whatever. And that's fine. That's fine. We're practically studying life right now. Fictional life, but hey.
I agree that to many, these creatures may seem unremarkable or even dull. But one lesson I aim to teach you all is that no matter how unassuming a monster might be, there is always more to learn from them if you're willing to look for it. And
Yes.
the Aptonoth is no exception to this rule. So let's get started. When fully grown, an Aptonoth can stand at around 3 meters tall, reach 8 meters
My
in length,
God.
and weigh between 4 or 5 tons.
I'm sorry, if you're harvesting that for meat, I understand. Oh my God! One is enough to feed a family of 8, bro.
Their bodies are covered in a thick, scaly hide. This hide is quite leathery in parts, making it very tough to slice through. It
Yeah.
offers decent resistance against physical trauma, but it's better at helping them withstand changes in temperature. Being a hunter
Fair.
will take you to many places, both well-known and completely new. And depending on the region you're currently stationed in, you may notice some differences in the Aptonoth's appearance. Mainly, there's a notable difference in the coloration
Really?
of the scales covering their body.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I am from Gen 5. I see, okay, fair enough.
What causes this
Yes, I was just about to ask.
is still unclear, but what is
Okay.
clear is those black vertical stripes going along their backs is constant across every specimen. They are primarily quadrupedal animals and so spend most of their time on all fours, but they are capable of
Holy.
rearing up on their hind legs to reach high-growing vegetation.
Oh,
They do
shit.
this very sparingly, as due to their weight,
I thought they would do that because, like, why was I thinking of, like, bear and what bears do?
it puts a lot of strain on their legs.
What the fuck?
And I will warn you all not to stand too close when they're coming back down. It's never really graceful. Being herbivores, they have developed excellent tools to tackle such food sources. They have a short, rounded snout that is finely tuned for rooting around low-growing grasses and sniffing out what they're after. Once they locate their food, their beaks can shear the nutritious leaves and fruits right off the stem. Their teeth are also designed to grind down
Great.
and mulch even the toughest fruits and mushrooms.
A very, what's it called? Really no canines in that jaw. Just lots and lots of crushing molars. I mean, if you're eating plants, what the fuck would you need canines, right?
Despite being labeled as herbivores, they do have a means of defending themselves, and it's that long tail at the end of their bodies, which I'm sure more than a few of you have already spotted. This tail is built of tightly packed vertebrae, making it very rigid, and on top of that is a thick layer of muscle, only adding to its density. At the tip of the tail are
Huh.
3 sets of pointed thagomizers.
So, yeah, oh, yeah, the fucking thagomizers. Wow. So they have a tail club as well. I thought they would. Well, that's fair. Why did I assume, like, oh, they must not use that often? Well, okay, sure, maybe not often, but using it at all, I mean.
which turn this into a makeshift spiked club, which they will swing around when they feel threatened. So far we've covered mainly surface level details. These kind of things you can tell by just simply looking at them. So now we're going to start delving into the finer details, such as how to tell the difference between a male and
Okay.
female Aptonoth. The first giveaway is in their size. Male Aptonoth will always grow much taller and bulkier than the females by a pretty decent margin.
Hold on, Huh. You can't really count. Is this... Okay, someone tell me this in the comments. Is that considered sexual dimorphism? Is it? Huh, okay.
The real tell, though, is in their head crests. Here's
Oh.
a quick side-by-side to show what I mean. The crest of a male Aptonoth is much
Darker,
darker in color
a
than
bit
the females,
spikier.
as well as being much
Yeah.
more pronounced with 4 pointed spines at the top that form a crown-like shape. The
Huh.
crest of a female Aptonoth is much lighter in
And it's
color,
blunt.
and bears only 2
Yeah,
rounded
yeah, yeah.
points at the top in contrast to this. It's accepted by many that these crests are used as a way to signify sexual maturity to the females and assert dominance over any rival males in the mating seasons. Now that we've covered
Fair.
what they look like, the next question is, where can I find them? And the short answer is,
Honestly,
damn near
almost
anywhere.
yeah,
The
almost
Aptonoth are
fucking
one of the
anywhere.
most widely spread species documented by the Guild.
Listen, bro, unless you're going out into some bullshit like a fucking oil cave, right? Or whatever else may have you that doesn't have greenery. No shit, they're not gonna be there. But like, just go out into like some random plains or whatever. I know, obviously, don't get yourself eaten by a fucking rathalos or whatever, right? But like, you'll find these guys fucking anywhere, bro. Like, what?
They can be found roaming close to dense forests, grazing in open grasslands,
Yep.
plodding along riverbanks, or even passing through coastal swamplands. In most regions, with some notable exceptions such as
Anywhere where there's like vegetation and water, really, they're there. and obviously fair enough, they're herbivore. Herbivore plus plant is like, well, that's literally their livelihood. So yeah.
as Camara and Elgato, you won't go long without seeing any of them. But despite their widespread reach, the types of territories they choose to settle in are not unlimited. Here's what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
While they are very sturdy creatures, they have not adapted to life in harsher climates for long. They can tolerate snowy regions when migrating, but they won't settle in these kinds of places. To thrive as a species, the Aptonoth need temperate regions that are rich in plant life that they can consume. Here's a quick rule of thumb you can write down in your journals. If an area has an abundance of vegetation and just a lot of green, that's where you're going to find them. Now, when it comes to their behavior, the Aptonoth are about as gentle and docile as they come. They have no fear towards humans
What the fuck is his weapon, bro? What the fuck?
at all, and so you can walk right up to them and they'll just continue grazing. You can even jump up on their backs with no consequence.
Are you
They
serious?
won't be happy at first and stomp around a little bit, but once they realize you're not trying to hurt them, they'll just continue what they were doing before. With such an easygoing nature, it's no surprise that they have been domesticated for a variety of purposes. The most common place that you will see them is alongside merchants.
Though I would not put that in a zoo. At least like an open windowed one. But that, I mean, like, there's no glass, there's no barriers between the humans and... I'm sorry, bro. I know they're a herbivore, but that Thagomizer can pierce anyone. I don't know that.
They can be trained to haul their carts and merchandise in exchange for food, and as long as they are well fed and treated kindly, the Aptonoth are more than happy to cooperate.
Yeah.
In the wild, however,
Fair
the
enough.
Aptonoth are deeply social animals, to such an extent that you will never find one alone unless something has gone very wrong in that area. They are always found moving in herds of varying sizes, either a single family unit of 3, or large migrating herds which can number in the hundreds. Moving in herds not only offers them familiar company, which is always a bonus to them, it also offers just much better protection all around, particularly for their most vulnerable members, such as their young. Juvenile Aptonoth make very easy targets for predators, as I'm sure many of you could guess, lacking both the size and experience of their parents to stay alive, and so the safety provided by the herd is critical in keeping them alive. They have found a way to mitigate this danger, though. The juveniles will grow exceptionally quickly. They will even reach adulthood within a few years of hatching. This, however, does come with a caveat. To grow that fast, you need enough food to make it happen.
Yes.
And also not becoming food yourself definitely helps. This is why each herd...
Oh my god, this is really good. Well, obviously, yes, the video as well, but, like, the video is fucking amazing so far. But, I suppose this is either him actually, like, you know, talking about canon information, and if it's not, I don't really care if he's just filling in the blanks. This is really good to work with, because if you're growing fast as a herbivore, you would need... No wonder they're migrating in, like around greenery all the fucking time, other than the fact it's their food source. There must be an abundance of it, because if someone is young in their group, they have a youngling in their group, a little baby, you would need a lot of plants, of whatever, because if you're... Seriously, bro, if anyone out there, I doubt anyone over, like, I don't know, if any one of you guys has a kid or whatever, bro, you would know that they're pretty hungry little gremlins. And because, well, obviously, they're growing, right? They're growing, no shit. But, like, if you're growing fast, right, into adolescence, then adulthood, to, obviously speed up the process a little bit so you're not food yourself. Yeah, that, like, while that's a solid move in terms of, like, evolution, it's a little costly, but I suppose it's better than, like, becoming dinner, which, I mean, hey, completely fair enough.
Whether large or small, is led by the largest and most experienced male. It's his job to lead the herd to areas that are relatively safe and abundant in food sources. But despite having such defenses at their disposal, the Aptonoth are by many metrics the perfect prey. They're big, they're plentiful, and most importantly for predators, they are very predictable. I'm sure many of you are aware that any predator out there runs a cost-to-benefit assessment.
Oh my god. Sorry, ignore the sounds I just made. A fucking cat is, like, scratching up my arm.
assessment when they hunt. Some prey are just too small to even bother expending the energy it would take to hunt them, and while some are much bigger with a lot of meat on them,
Yeah?
they're just too dangerous to deal with.
Yes.
The Aptonoth, unfortunately,
I'm sorry, put put like bone and like I don't know, whatever might have you, right? Hard material, like horns on a herbivore that's like 1,000 pounds, and I don't think not a lot. Like sure, yes, like what I said, right? That's a lot of meat, especially like on an Aptonoth of all things, which are easy to slay as a hunter, right? Like in terms of like gameplay, in terms of like raw gameplay. But what I'm saying is that, um, bro, it gets to a point where they're just too big. They're too big. They're too armored. They're a bit too dangerous if they do defend themselves. So I don't recommend it. Like if you're a new hunter, like in terms of speaking, right? Like as if we're in the Monster Hunter world, like actually.
for them, hits the sweet spot between these two extremes. They're big enough to feed even larger monsters, but they also pose no real threat to even the smaller ones out there. They are hunted by just about any predator I can name, and each one has
Yep.
its own way of making a meal out of an apple.
See, this is what I see so often, bro. It's a little horrifying. Okay, you know what? I got a little question. If the Jaguars can do this, how fucking strong is their digestive system to literally, I suppose, melt and digest literal bone piles? Or do they spit it out? Because, like, bro, they just swallow the fucking monster. Look at this shit, bro. The first time I saw this, right? I think it was in the video of Grand Call. I was like, what the fuck?
But they also pose no
Look
real
at
threat
this.
to even the smaller ones out there. They are
What
hunted
the
by just about
fuck?
any predator I can name, and each one has its own
Rancid.
way of making a meal
I'm sorry, that's a rancid eating style, bro.
out of an Aptonoth. We'll cover two of the most common
Wait, why does the Jaguars even have teeth then? If you're just, I'm confused, whatever.
predators they face from two opposite sides of the spectrum in terms of size. Starting off with smaller predators like the Velociprey. These
Yeah.
swift raptors rely on causing chaos and fear among the herd to isolate a single target,
Yeah.
which is honestly not that hard to do. An Aptonoth's first reaction to any danger
It's
they
just run.
recognize is to run away.
Oh, there go
By
the
the time
Kelpies.
they've reached adulthood, they have more than enough experience dealing with predators that they know the best way to survive is to be faster than the slowest members.
True.
However, it's not-
Oh my god, it's dark, but it really is true. It's true.
Entirely simple process, because the raptors will have to contend with the lead male. He often stays behind to draw attention away from the rest of the herd to give them a much better chance of escape. But the raptors are just way too fast for him to keep up with, and so will more often than not succeed in isolating their much weaker targets.
Shit.
And once this is done, it's only a matter of time before the
I hear the world music, the fucking menu music. Hold on.
Aptonoth falls.
Okay, wait. Let me. Can we run it back 5 seconds? What did he say?
And once this is done, it's only a matter of time before the Aptonoth falls.
True. While its layers of hide and fat can withstand a decent level of punishment, the main cause of their demise is the blood loss caused from the slashes and bites. Yep. We watched a video on the old raptors, and Velociprey are quite the menaces, even just the base ones that you're seeing.
Yes, their hide is thick enough to hold out for a while, but it can't do much against a coordinated barrage of claws and teeth from a pack of Velociprey. Then you've got apex predators like the Rathalos. They don't even need to waste time with these kinds of tactics. They'll just dive bomb right out of the sky and crush them underfoot. And once they're done, they'll just fly away with what's left of them like it's nothing. And just to highlight again, this only covers these two. Anjanath, Deviljo, Nargacuga, and so many more have their own way of hunting these creatures.
Yep.
And that is precisely what makes these animals so impressive to me. In
Yeah.
a world as hostile and unforgiving as ours, where beasts fight, kill, and dominate each other for all kinds of reasons, the Aptonoth has survived through it all through sheer tenacity and cooperation.
Honestly, you gotta give him props. The fact you've clung onto the food chain for so long that you're not extinct yet is admirable. Mind you, this is from Gen 1 to Gen 5 all the way. Or maybe even Wilds. What is... Hey. Yeah, like, it comes from Gen... Like, right. Gen 1 to Gen 5. I don't know if they survive further in Wilds or is Wilds a completely like other place. But you go give them their credit, bro. It's quite insane. This is such a hostile world to live in. And it's super tough because you gotta kind of hunt. You gotta. Well, then again, we have received info like from Oceanias where it's like, if you're a normal human there's a chance you've never even seen a monster like in your entire fucking life. So fair enough. What is this cat meowing? Hey, are you are you good? What? Okay.
And you have got to respect that level of resilience. Okay, let's bring it back to all of you. So by now you have all cleared the guild's first set of testing.
Yeah.
Gathering and helping
Oh, come on.
out both villagers and guild operatives to the point where they have actually noticed your efforts.
Yeah. What the
You've
fuck?
successfully been in the
Okay.
field numerous times without hurting yourself or your partners. Congratulations, you are now going to be sent after your first real monster. And more
Oh,
often
boy.
than not, that will be an Aptonoth. I'm certain more than a few of you are
Oh,
wondering how
okay.
these creatures count as a hunt at all. If they're both easy to find and not threatening,
I'm sorry. Look. See it this way. See it this way, right? We can wrap a nice word around it like hunt, but like since we're smarter humans, and in the case of Monster Hunter, as a world, right? In terms of lore, bro, we're super fucking strong humans. I'm not surprised if we as well are like predating on them. And by predating, we're using their hide for like basic clothing, or maybe what you usually kill them in world for. You're using them for like for meat. And like fair enough. Like what? Yeah, we're also like we're smart enough to predate on them, so we do. That's a hunt.
which is a very fair question, and there is a reason for this. First and foremost, there is no danger in hunting these creatures. So your first real assignment thankfully won't end in a eulogy,
Obviously,
but
yeah.
just as important as that is that being a hunter is just not a job for everyone, and there's no shame in that. Heading out into the wilds on your own, tracking down these beasts, and then taking their lives can just be way too much for some recruits. And it's better we find that out as soon as possible before
That's
something
true.
much more dangerous has you in its sight.
I saw this kind of discussion pop up in. I think it was some like psychological, not debate, but it was a discussion. It was really cool, in where in a group where you do need like either soldiers or like I'm sorry, in this case Monster Hunter, it is a really like let's be real for a second, right? It really is a rough world. It's a rough world, bro. Like especially like in the parts of like the world where you're actually encountering monsters. Oh, like now I wouldn't say on the daily, but like you'd encounter maybe two or three on your week when you're hunting. Well, given if you're not fucking sore by the end of it, right? By the end of like the second hunt, um, you would kind of need like sort of like psychopaths. I'm not saying this in a bad way, right? Like some people can be psychopathic and like still get enough like help and sort of guidance to lead like normal lives. That's fair. I'm talking about like maybe sociopaths or people that have like a dulled sense of guilt, or a dulled sense of sympathy or empathy. What is it? What? Okay, sorry, my cat's just meowing. Um, because like if you're going out on a hunt and like you're hunting herbivores, right? Obviously, me like as someone who does value life, be it my own or an animal's or another person's. Um, Obviously yes, it can be like this sort of source of guilt, right? But like just hunting on its own, I don't really see any guilt in it. Because like, okay, like we eat pork, beef, and chicken all the time. Obviously, we're gonna have to like well not hunt, right? But we are slaughtering these animals for like for their meat, and hey, fair enough, right? We gotta eat. But when you're in a world such as this, can you do the hunting yourself? That is the big question, because if you can't, and you can't take the life of something that is as big as like an Aptonoth, anything bigger or meaner will probably get the best of you. Right? I'm not saying you gotta be like overtly aggressive, but you can't really leave room for hesitation. I'm sure I'm sure like in the cutscenes that we've played on Worlds, like the ones you've seen me go through, even like the a beginner play Monster Hunter World, you sleep, bro. Like the reaction time you'd have to dodge an entire Jagras corpse would be insane. And yeah, you need that on the field. There shouldn't be any hesitation. Like, oh, I'm hunting something with a life. You can't have that. And that's fine. It's a rough ass world, bro. You're gonna have to hunt these monsters. And like if you're not cut out for it, like there's other positions. You could be a technician of some sort. You could be a tradesman, a middleman between like two countries or whatever. Um, you could be a researcher, like you're studying ecological life. And that's fine. It's a super rough world, right? The hunters are just kind of glorified because, well, that's the main like theme of the actual game. But in terms of like actually being in the world, it's really rough.
Well, let's say you're all ready and raring to go on your first
Yeah,
official hunting quest, whether on your own or with your party members, and you have successfully tracked down the Aptonoth. Here's what you need to do. The Aptonoth don't see humans as a threat at all, and so you can use this to your advantage. Regardless of the weapon you use, I advise aiming for its side and flanks. These areas provide easy access to multiple weak points, and if done strong enough and with enough precision, you can drop them in one well-placed strike. Once you have successfully brought one of them down, you can claim the needed materials from them and claim your bounty. The main reason of
The fact they flinch a little bit and have these like muscle contractions and these electrical inputs from their brain, but like they're already dead and they're twitching while they die is oh god, a bit too real, a bit too real, but yes.
above all others you will be sent out to hunt the Aptonoth is to harvest their meat. The meat of an Aptonoth is a staple across almost all regions.
Yeah.
Whether sold by
It's like the cow of Monster Hunter, essentially.
merchant stalls and just about every canteen you'll visit, it's almost guaranteed to be
Delicious.
on the menu. It's noted not only for its delicious flavor, but
Ah, stop. I haven't had breakfast, bruv. Oh my god, I just woke up, sat down, and started making this video. Stop it.
for also being surprisingly nutritious. The guild often issues these quests to harvest the meat from them to satisfy demand, and for a while that's
Fair.
exactly what you're
Fair.
all going to be doing. Oh yes, I almost forgot. You will also on occasion be sent the glamorous task of harvesting their dung.
Yeah.
Yes, you heard that right.
Yeah.
Feel free to laugh, but the botanists swear by the stuff. It's filled
I mean, yeah. That's true though, because it would help with plant growth, wouldn't it? Because like it would enrich in the soil and you get what I'm saying, but god, that's awful.
with nutrients essential for plant growth and so makes a great fertilizer. We have all done it at least once, and so will all of you. Due to the fact
I have not, and thankfully I haven't. I am not taking that quest, bro.
that so many ecosystems and even communities rely on the Aptonoth to continue functioning, they were rightly declared an essential resource by the guild long ago.
Sure.
To help ensure that these animals remain both healthy and abundant, they also created and enforce multiple policies that prevent them from being overhunted or even poached. And believe me,
That's good. That's good. Oh my god, that's really good. Because like it's true. It's true. If humans find out some shit like, oh dude, we could harvest this and like there's a lot of it. Should it mean you should harvest all of it? No. No, and then it'll run out and none more would usually like it takes the pattern of okay, none more would grow. And like yeah.
the absolute last place you ever want to find yourself is on a guild knight's naughty list. Just trust me on that one, okay?
Yeah.
Now, for any of you that are currently or will be stationed in Astera, I have a trick for all of you that I picked up in my time there. If you are
Okay.
sent out on a mission in the ancient forest and are having trouble tracking down your target through the maze of trees and vines, I advise locating the herd of Aptonoth wandering the area. You can use these Aptonoth to lure out your targets, and here's how you
Really?
do it. If you can manage to
Wait, what? No, this is new info to me. What the fuck?
cause enough panic amongst them, by either killing one of them or hitting them with slinger ammo, they'll begin to stampede through the forest. Their cries of panic will act as a beacon to predators and bring them running straight to you. Before any of you get excited to run out there and make some easy reward money, I will advise all of you, do not make the mistake of letting your guard down. Yes, the Aptonoth themselves may not be dangerous, but always remember this. You are never the only one hunting them at any given time.
Yes.
So here's a
Dude, accurate. Yes, that's factual information.
note you can take down for your journals. The Aptonoth are a gentle breed, creatures of peace and plenty.
Yep.
But where they roam, so too do the dangers of the wild. A hunter must always keep their wits about them. For while the Aptonoth pose no threat, the shadows that stalk them surely do.
Oh my god. I got a small goosebump peak. Dude, this guy's a fucking poet. But yeah, it's true. It's true. You know, bro, they provide such high amounts of meat, and also it's high energy. It's a lot of meat. There's fats and proteins in it. Bro, they're gonna be hunted. Consistently, sure. We can say consistently. Even though they've evolved down the food chain, we can say they get hunted consistently, bro. Because this is a lot. This is a lot. Most of the time, you see the fucking great jaguar swallowing him up, or fucking Anjanath getting a snack in. You know, you get the idea, man.
The Aptonoth may be a very simple creature to many, but they are steadfast, resilient, and reliable above all else. And for all of you, they mark your first real step to becoming a hunter. So I will tell you all, respect them and always learn from them. Now we move on
This is great. I like this teacher-student thing. Oh my god.
to the next monster in my notes for today. And while it's still a herbivore, I assure you, don't let that fool you into thinking that it can't cause problems for you.
Testodon?
Next up is the Azmeross.
Oh, I've seen these guys. Wild Spire Wastelands. There we go. I got the name right this time. Yeah.
Now then, this beast is
There we
certainly
go,
one
yeah,
that
yeah,
tends
yeah.
to leave an impression. Something that may surprise some of you is that the Azmeross shares a close evolutionary line with the Aptonoth, making them essentially
Not that surprised. They have a very similar build aside from the gigantic shell on its back.
cousins on some level. They do share some similarities due to this, but there are far more differences between them than what seems obvious.
True.
So we'll start with the basics again. An Azmeross, when fully grown, stands roughly at around 3 meters
Title: Desert Fortress. You know, for a fucking herbivore, that is one hell of a title. Wait.
tall,
Okay.
can reach 8 meters or so
Insane.
in length, and weigh in at an impressive 6
Holy
or
shit.
8 tons.
What the fuck? Okay, I suppose if you're that dense, sure.
Their hide is a coarse blend of earthy brown and tan-colored scales. These are pretty tough on their own, but what sets these creatures apart from the rest is that large shell on their backs. This shell isn't just thick layers of hide or even scales, no. It's
That's
made of
actual
overlapping plates of bone. In several parts, like the edges, it's upward of a foot thick, and this whole
Oh
thing
my
is
God.
fused directly to the skin on their backs. This level of density makes it impervious to most conventional attacks predators can throw at them, making this creature a walking fortress. Now, for many predators, this is enough to make them look the other way, but just in case...
Yeah, there is a phenomenon that happens. I wouldn't say phenomenon, not really. Is it? Would you consider that a phenomenon? But in a thing where a predator will stalk its prey, and you know, as they're stalking their prey, obviously they're observing them. But the thing is with that is, if the prey is actually armored looking enough, big enough, or sorry, I sneezed. Or they do pose like a more significant threat. The predator can just say, you know what, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
The Azmeross is equipped with a weapon to help further dissuade them. That
Yeah,
freaking
look at
tail.
those barbs.
Calling this weapon
Jesus.
a club almost feels dishonest.
That's
as
a
it's more like
Morning Star,
wrecking
bro.
ball made of solid bone, which is then for fun further covered in spikes that are also made of bone.
Of course.
And here's the kicker. Even from a young age, they can swing this tail with a surprising level of speed and accuracy. This weapon's sheer mass means that any hit can be devastating to smaller predators. Raptors that get
Yep.
just a little bit too close are often pulverized and sent flying through the air if they're not
Jesus.
careful. Much like their cousins, the Azmeross are
Or if you get hit at an unfortunate angle, stabbed.
also fairly widespread and found in multiple regions. But in contrast to their cousins that prefer to settle in greener pastures, the Azmeross instead prefer to make their homes in much more unforgiving environments. You'll find them near
Why, though?
exclusively in scorching deserts and areas with active volcanic activity.
What?
And yet,
Why?
despite choosing such hostile living conditions, the Azmeross will thrive in such places and have adapted to survive on what little their environments give them. How exactly they manage to sustain themselves in such places where drinking water and vegetation are so rare, despite being this big, is still debated by people much smarter than myself. My personal theory is a combination
Oh god, the Monster Hunter movie. Oh my god. One of the actors there I really like. Cool guy, but yeah.
of a drastically slowed metabolism that allows them to maximize their caloric intake and the ability to retain water remarkably well.
Yep.
But I
Fair.
will say that until further research has been conducted, feel free to take that theory with a pinch of salt. But one thing we do know about them is that when you live in a place where each drop of water and every plant is a rare treasure, you will become very protective of what little you have. And
Yeah.
that segues perfectly into discussing their infamously well-known tempers. Unlike their cousins
What the fuck is that Monster Hunter game? What was that?
that are much more laid back and will happily share their territory with other creatures, the Azmeross takes a much more assertive approach to trespassers. The
Oh,
Azmeross
boy.
are highly territorial and hostile animals. They will defend any viable territory they have claimed relentlessly, even when totally outmatched. Makes sense when you realize that if you live in constant scarcity, you will fight for any scrap you can get your hands on.
Yeah. Yes.
Because of these factors, it's been no surprise that any attempts that were made to domesticate these creatures ended in total failure.
Yep.
Because it turns out trying to train a walking fortress with a bad temper ends just as you would expect it to. But despite their attitude, they are social animals.
I will say though, couldn't you domesticate one through like giving it food? And you obviously, you know, the resources they themselves literally are looking for. Would that not work?
Well, only with each other, and even then things aren't exactly harmonious between them. Herds of Azmeross are made of multiple family units working together to protect themselves and their young. Turns out even creatures this mean have a soft side.
Of
I
course.
imagine more than a few of you might be thinking that a creature this well armed and armored, with a temper to match, surely has nothing to worry about when it comes to predators. Well, not exactly. Despite having these
yeah.
defenses, many predators can still bring down these animals only if they know what they're doing. And I'll explain. Let's again start with that shell. I meant it when I said that this shell is incredibly strong and even impervious to many
Oh my god. The human femur. The human femur is the thickest bone in the human body with a diameter of 1.5 inches. That is insane, by the way. For a bone. But a bone. Bones are usually supposed to be thin. You know, they're quite articulate, but yeah. Our femur being like 1.5 inches is insane. Like in terms of like width. It takes an estimated 400 pounds per square inch to break. Hold on, my fucking nose. Azmeross's shell is more than 8. Oh my god! 8 to 10 times thicker than this, and so would require up to 40,000 psi to break through. That is not an easy force to produce.
conventional methods of attack. But this level of
Yikes.
strength comes with a cost. The Azmeross are about the same height and length of an Aptonoth, but they are
But
several
much heavier.
tons heavier.
Yep.
A lot of
Yep.
this extra weight comes from their denser muscle mass needed to carry all this armor,
True.
but that armor's density also makes it
Yep.
really heavy. So as a result, it has a substantial impact on their speed. And no matter how strong your defenses are, if you can't move, you're just a target. So for freedom of movement,
Yeah.
there are segments across its body that are left exposed. Places like the back of their legs and their soft underbellies.
Or
This
that
may not
neck.
seem like much of a compromise with how impressive the protected areas are, but for many
What
predators,
fucking-
this is
what
all
fucking
the window
angina
they
is-
need
what-
to make Azmeross their prey. To
Is that a
prove this
real
point,
thing?
let's
What
take
the
a look
fuck?
at their natural enemies really quick. The Gen family of raptors. Looking at
Yup.
them, these spindly little raptors shouldn't be
these
able to
guys.
do anything to a creature this well protected. And while they lack the strength needed to break through their defenses, they make up for it with speed, coordination, and strategy. Despite the fact that the Azmeross
The poison as well, bro. Hey.
are herd animals, they can often be found alone or even away from the herd. Combo this with their lack of speed, the Azmeross can't rejoin the herd in a hurry, and so must stand its ground wherever it is. A coordinated attack of well-aimed slashes and bites can bring down an Azmeross in just a matter of time. But to tip the scales in the raptor's favor just that little bit more, their extended fangs can deliver a paralyzing toxin, which is strong enough to even leave an Azmeross completely vulnerable.
Yikes.
This would be manageable if it were only these smaller raptors preying upon them, but no. Just like anything else, they have to contend with the bigger beasts out there too. And when facing with bigger targets, the Azmeross will stay true to their very stubborn instincts and stand their ground. Instead of going on the offensive, they play to their strengths and switch to a tactical defensive formation, which I can only describe as a living phalanx.
This is insane! It's like they have a... Dude, this is insane. They've surrounded their inner... They've made this sort of core. And where in the inner core, they do have their vulnerable parts there. But on the outer edge of the core, they use this huge bony plate as a sort of shield and mace. I don't know if it's a shield and mace, a shield or a flail. So I'm sure. I suppose a flail is more apt, no? But wow, this is insane. I didn't know they did this.
Once in position, they will hunker down closer to the ground to reduce access to their underbellies. The next step is to raise their tails up high. Each member in this formation guards the other's weak spots and covers their blind spots.
This is insane.
For being such stubborn creatures, this level of cooperation is really an impressive sight to see.
Yeah.
As formidable as this formation is, even a shield wall has its limits.
True.
Something like the Tigrex doesn't need to look for openings in their defenses. They'll just make them. The gap in their power is way too vast to ignore, and they will just smash clean through their formation like a pile of dried leaves. This formation is strong, don't get me wrong, but in the face of power like this, it's completely useless.
Yeah, that is absurd, wow.
And then there are the Diablos and Monoblos, which are arguably the most dangerous creatures they will contend with. These two do not attack the Azmeross to consume them, no. These attacks are about clearing competition. Given their shared diet of desert-growing vegetation, and the fact that so little of it grows at any given time, these wyverns will do what they can to secure any they find. A single charge from either of these tyrants can crash through whatever defenses the Azmeross can hope to put together. These fights are neither long nor fair, and often end fatally for the Azmeross as a result.
Poor guy.
So moving on to the Hunter's Guide, here's what you all need to know. As new recruits, there is one thing about the Azmeross you need to know.
You know what, once again, props to them. The fact they've stuck around this long with a much harsher environment, mind you, is, again, remarkable.
Above all others. So if you remember nothing else about them, let it be this. These creatures may not shoot fireballs, or aim to devour you like many wyverns you'll be facing, but their territorial nature can be just as dangerous if you're not careful. The Azmeross don't care why you're in its territory. They don't care if you're just passing through on your way to hunt something else, or even if you're in the middle of hunting a much larger beast. If they see you, they will charge immediately and without a second thought, and they are relentless to the core. So many hunters you'll meet have more than a few stories of barely surviving a bout with a much larger creature, fighting for their lives with every swing only to be blindsided by an Azmeross determined to ruin their day.
What the fuck?
If you even glance at them, or take one step too close to a nesting site that's all the way over there, it doesn't matter. You've now got a 7-ton problem to deal with.
Oh, great.
So the best piece of advice I can give you to avoid this problem is that if possible, you should lure your main target to an area away from them. And if that isn't possible, I'd say scope out the area ahead of time and neutralize any you can find before taking on your real target. One less variable when hunting can be the difference between a success story and an early retirement.
Oh god! Oh god! Oh god, what'd he say?
And can be the difference you can find before taking on your real target. One less variable when hunting can be the difference between a success story and an early retirement. But at
Yep.
some point, you will
Yep.
be sent out to hunt down the Azmeross themselves. And so in such cases, here's what you need to know. Blunt weapons like the hammer can get the job done by breaking weaker parts like their legs, which leave them wide open for the kill. But I advise bladed or ranged weapons. Both options can find their way to
Yeah.
the weak underside much easier, whether cutting through the flanks or slicing their underbellies. The main reason you'll be sent out to deal with them is to harvest meat from them. The meat itself isn't exactly a delicacy, but if prepared well enough, you can make cured rations from it for hunters.
Nice.
But the real prize is their livers. When cooked properly, these livers are not only highly nutritious, but have a rich, earthy taste to
Holy.
it. It's prized by most culinary experts in certain regions, so keep your eyes out for
Oh,
it.
wow.
Another task that will be sent your way is to collect some of their eggs. And yes, that's exactly as
Oh.
delightful as it sounds.
Not an Apsaros. Yeah, I couldn't tell by the gigantic spikes coming off of its body.
The job itself isn't difficult, you just need to bring an egg from point A to
Okay,
B,
no.
and you're done. But here's the
Fair.
catch. Not many people are willing to risk the anger of an already ill-tempered parent, now motivated
Yup.
by their parental instincts.
Yep.
But just like before, here's a note you can all take down. The Apsaros are as harsh to deal with as the deserts they call home. Slow and steadfast in their ways. While they pose little threat on their own, the lands that they inhabit certainly do. The sands themselves are ever-changing, and the beasts beneath them are ever on the move. So far, that's two herbivores that will present you two very different situations to deal with. And while the experiences of hunting them may be different, there are more similarities between these two than differences. So next up are a
Yeah.
few creatures that will highlight the diversity this group of monsters contains. The first of them we'll discuss today is
Oh,
the
boy.
Kelby.
Oh, these guys.
One of the first things I'm sure many of you will have noticed is that compared to the sturdy frame of the Aptonoth and the tank-like build of the Apsaros, the Kelby certainly cuts a much more delicate frame. But they
Yeah.
stand out in more ways
Yeah.
than just that. The most notable being that they are one of the first mammalian herbivores officially recorded by the Guild. Not the only ones by
Really?
far, we will be seeing much
Okay.
more of them as time goes on, but they are the first entry we have in the archives. So now we start with the basics. In terms of physical prowess, they are much more modest than the previous two monsters we have discussed up to now by quite a lot. An adult Kelby stands at just under 2 meters tall, specifically around 5 feet. They will reach around 2 meters in length and
okay.
will rarely weigh more than around 35 kilograms, or 80 pounds if that
Wow.
helps. Their bodies are covered in a deep green fur, broken up with beige underbellies and striped patterns along their backs. But here's something I know for a fact not many of you will know about. Older records and field journals depict the Kelby having what seem to be green scale plates instead of fur.
What?
Whether these depict their
That is
ancestors
insane.
from a long time once past, or a regional subspecies whose numbers have dwindled over time is still up for debate. But for any of you who might say this is just a mistake, I counter with this. This description appears far too often to be written off as just a mistake.
Yeah.
And until we either have
yeah.
a living specimen or fossilized remains, we're not going to know for certain. One trait, however, that has persisted across the records of old and those of today is their clear sexual dimorphism. Male Kelby sport a set of intricately branching horns. Their complexity varies from region
Yeah,
to region,
true.
but their use remains the same. These horns are used to display sexual maturity to the females and even fight off rival males during the mating seasons. In contrast, the female horns are much shorter and blunted. A secondary trait we've noticed is that the ears tend to droop downwards where male ears point upwards. These are very simple differences, I will say, but much like the Aptonoth, once you know what you're looking for, you can't mistake
Yeah,
it.
you're good. Yeah.
Now, in terms of where you can find them, this is where the Kelby truly stand out, and it's actually in their favor this time. Unlike the more specialized herbivores we've covered up to now, the Kelby can be found in almost every major biome across nearly every region. Or some of the more extreme locales like frozen tundras or molten lava fields. Everywhere else, fair game. Deserts, forests, grasslands, marshes, they
They're
do
good.
well in all of them.
I mean, then again, you don't need for this type of body. You don't need a lot of water and much less food. No.
Because of this quite frankly unprecedented level of success, the Guild has classified them as a generalist species. This is simply defined as a species
Fair.
that can thrive in
Fair.
a wide variety of environments and utilize the variety of resources available to them. This level of adaptability is one of the key factors to their survival and success as a species. Despite how
Yeah,
skittish they are around potential threats, they are surprisingly comfortable around humans. They don't see us as a threat in any way. The reason why is unclear, but it has thankfully made researching them a lot easier. But despite being
Okay, on that I will add, maybe it's because we're similar in size to them. Right? Because if anything hunting you is like the size of a mass, like the size of maybe not, I can't even say small, of a gigantic boulder, like a fucking, let's say a Baroth, right? I'm sure, I don't know if a Baroth eats Kelby, but you get the idea. If they associate that with a threat, a human doesn't really pose any in terms of like, because maybe they're looking a lot more for size, which is fair enough.
found in so many places, that doesn't mean you're going to see a lot of them in any one place. Here's what I mean. These animals only travel in small groups, usually no more than 5 individuals.
Yeah.
This isn't due to
sure.
some kind of hierarchy in their groups, no. It's about keeping attention away from them. The term safety in numbers doesn't really apply to them considering the fact they are less than a fraction of the size of other herbivores out there,
Yeah.
so gathering in numbers doesn't really work for them. Speaking of predators, however, it shouldn't come as a shock that if they have found a way to bring down something like the Azmeross, then the Kelby should just be easy pickings. And that would be a correct assumption, but that also emphasizes the fact that what few defenses they do possess matter all the more. These animals specialize in avoiding conflict rather than holding their own against predators, and so have developed tools to help with this strategy. The first being their green fur. This coloration allows them to blend into vegetation of dense forests or even tall grasses. This camouflage is what they depend on before predators actually notice them. This isn't foolproof though, as many predators like the Nargacuga, for example, have senses that are just far too keen for this to fool them. This is where their keen sense of hearing comes into play. They are capable of hearing any unfamiliar sounds within an estimated radius of 300 to 400 yards.
Oh my god! That isn't. Oh my god, that is insane hearing. Holy fuck. Dude.
And if they do hear something, they run. And they run fast. Kelby are built very lightly and are very agile as a result. Their bodies are streamlined and their hind legs allow them to bound across various terrains with surprising speed. But if any one of these defenses fail them at all, even smaller predators like the raptors can make an easy meal out of them. Because of this, any ventures made to domesticate these animals were shot down on arrival. If you're wondering why, let's go through the reasons why it's a bad idea.
Okay.
Looking at it simply economically, it's a really hard sell. It's just not as profitable when compared to the numbers even a single Aptonoth can yield.
That's true.
A fully grown Aptonoth can weigh as much as 137 Kelby. Yes, 137 of them. So even just thinking of meat productions, those numbers speak for themselves. Another reason is that one Aptonoth kept in a village is very manageable, but keeping that many Kelby in one localized area may as well be an invitation to dinner for every predator within miles of that settlement.
Yeah, or maybe pests.
Hence why this venture is just not worth pursuing. But if any of you want to drop this class and become a Kelby farmer, feel free and please let me know how that goes. Now, as if there wasn't already enough, there is another factor that makes the Kelby unique compared to others. And that is, unlike the rest, you will never be sent out to harvest them for their meat. Don't get me wrong, the meat of a Kelby is serviceable, and if you're running low on rations on a job, I do recommend it. But any quest involving the Kelby is focused on one thing and one thing only.
The horns?
Their horns.
Yes!
These horns are so much more than many would assume them to be by just looking at them, and I don't really blame you because I thought the same at first. But these horns are a key ingredient in crafting high-grade medicinal items. When ground into a fine powder, they are used to brew some of the most potent restorative potions.
Oh, cool.
Capable of instantly restoring your strength and stamina.
I'm sorry, what game is this? My eyes. Map checking? This can't be Monster Hunter. No way. It can't be. Oh my god, this looks amazing. Holy shit.
So this alone makes them very important for keeping both us and the villagers in good health. Fortunately for everyone involved, harvesting these horns is a very simple process. Since the Kelby don't see us as a threat at all, you can walk right up to them. With one well-placed strike or well-aimed shot, you can break them clean off. Blunt weapons like the hammer do leave them unconscious long enough for you to carve them off. And the best part is, These horns will grow back in time, making it a very sustainable resource.
They go back. Oh my! What? They go back? What is this cat doing, bro? Hi, bro. They go back? That is insane. As TF2 medic said, what was he saying? Like the heavy? Oh, don't be such a baby. Hips go back? No, they don't.
But it would be very, very remiss of me if I were to neglect talking about one of the more surprising.
I'm still stumped. Usually, like, okay, let's like, obviously, bringing size out of the equation, right? The size of the monster. The fact the horn can grow back, like, okay, sure. You could say the Bloodbath Diabolos is an example. But, like, he's more of a deviant than anything. On a Kelby? The fact they can grow back is kind of mad to me. Usually, when like, I don't know, a calcium structure is broken or whatever the fuck, can it still be usable and maybe it'll regenerate? Okay, but will it still be usable? I don't know.
Utilities these horns
That's
possess.
crazy.
If you bring a few of these horns to the blacksmith, you
What
can
the
get
fuck?
yourself the Kelby Stink.
Dude, the blacksmith is buff as shit. Holy shit, is that Zeus? Wait, what does he say?
Horns possess. If you bring a few of these horns to the blacksmith, you can get yourself the Kelby Sting
Oh,
Shot.
wow.
This weapon is very well known to many experienced hunters, and for
Oh,
good
boy.
reason. It functions identically to the bow, but with one key difference. Instead of firing arrows, it instead fires small pellets made of steel. It's capable of firing 5 of
Excuse
these
me,
pellets
what?
at once, and each one of them can be coated in various substances to enhance their offensive
Oh,
power.
that's pretty
At
cool.
one point, they were even capable of being coated in the explosive slime that the Brachydios will use in combat. Moving
Oh my god, wait. What does that say?
capable of being coated in
Shout out to all my 3rd gen hunters who remembers the original Slime Blight. Also, in the next frame, did we just see the fucking copy pasta about, like,
the explosive
the
slime
slinger?
that the Brachydios will use in combat. Moving on from
here we
that,
go.
because
But instead you're yup,
I could go on about that weapon for a while, so I'll leave you all to explore more about it in your own time. Here's a note from
Yeah.
my own journal that you can all take down. The Kelby are as delicate as the leaves they feed upon, fleet-footed and ever alert. They are a reminder that in the heart of the forest, not all strength is found in muscle and might. Sometimes it lies in the ability to vanish as if one with the wind.
Oh! Azmeross! Come on! Doctor, be nice! Holy shit, man. These little notes he leaves at the end are amazing. What a lovely format, bro. This is an amazing video so far.
With that, we will turn our attention to the last entry in my notes for today. A beast that has earned a reputation not for power or speed, but tenacity and an unshakable appetite. The foraging experts themselves, the moss swine. The moss swine
these
certainly
guys.
embodies the resilience and sturdiness of the larger herbivores out there. It's only lacking their size. Even so, these sturdy little creatures have managed to successfully carve out a niche for themselves, and they have done it very well. So again, starting with the basics. An average moss swine stands at just under a meter tall, reaches about 2 meters in length, and weighs around 200 to 260 pounds. Small? Absolutely, but they are built like barrels with legs. But I should probably mention that there
Oh
have
my-
been more than a few reports
What?
of some individuals
This
growing
huge.
as large as an Aptonoth.
What the fuck?
They were found in the containment area located in Astera, and I can confirm these reports are not exaggerating at all. I
This
don't
is-
have a
yeah,
clue
this
whether
is
these
insane.
moss swine were genuine freaks of nature or some kind of experiment that went wrong at the guild, but I'll leave that conclusion to you.
Who wants moss swine pork chops?
Getting back to the normal moss swine, these creatures get their names from what sets them apart. Their backs are covered in thick layers of moss and various forms of plant
I'm assuming camouflage.
life. Whether this is due to poor personal hygiene, a
Wow.
unique feature
Wow.
of their biology, or a yet unknown symbiotic relationship is still up for
Probably
debate. Then
the
there's
third.
another hard to miss feature about them, and that's the large crown of bone at the center of their heads. While it can be used to headbutt anything they don't like,
Insane.
its main purpose seems to be used as a foraging tool, moving large
Oh,
debris in search of food and fungi.
Okay.
Much like the other herbivores, the moss swine is very selective about where it chooses to settle. They are mainly found in temperate regions where vegetation is plentiful, the trees offer plenty of shade, and have easy access to water. Forested areas where they can dig and graze are also ideal for them.
Yep, seen these guys
That
before.
being said, there have been multiple sightings of moss swine wandering through the Rotten Vale of all places.
Huh? Dog, Monster Hunter will fucking throw anything at you, bro. What do you mean? There is a fluvium there. Nah, talk to me nice. What is going on?
Why they would choose such a hostile and toxic
Yes.
environment is anyone's guess. Maybe they're seeking new food sources, they're too stubborn to leave, or they just got lost. I've seen them there with my own eyes, and yet I still can't make sense of it, so it's anyone's guess. If the Aptonoth are docile, the Azmeross is aggressive, and the Kelbi are passive creatures, the moss swine can only be described as single-minded. I say this with no exaggeration at all. The moss swine only cares about one thing, and that's food. They will spend every available second they have with their noses to the... And that's food.
The fucking eyes, bro.
They will spend every available second they have with their noses to the ground, sniffing out any delicacies hidden in the soil. And they will disregard anything else that is not this task. Unless you harm them, they will completely ignore you're even there and continue sniffing out mushrooms and truffles.
I've seen something else. I have killed, like, I think a Kestodon in front of a moss swine. To add to this, right, because you could technically count me in as a hunter as well, just a beginner one. But I have killed, like, was it a Kestodon? Yes, yeah, I killed a Kestodon in front of, like, a moss swine I was currently eating, and he did, like, burrow to the ground and kind of escape. So... not so much, but to a good point, yes.
Whether this is just blissful ignorance or a total disregard for the danger around them is unclear, but no one can deny it seems to work for them. If you interrupt them in this process, they will turn their attention towards you. Using that bone growth on their heads, they will charge you once or twice in an attempt to scare you off, but don't worry, it's more bark than bite, and it's more of an insult than an injury. This single-minded focus on foraging has left the moss swine with little to no social structure, at least that we know of. You might occasionally see a pair of moss swine moving together, but whether they're mates, siblings, or just two moss swine roaming the same area is honestly unclear.
Honestly, probably mates. But I always see them roaming around solo all the time. They're more like lone, not scavengers. They're more like lone herbivores of the sorts, and where, well, they're lonesome. So usually, I'd see them alone.
Other things just get truly baffling to me. On paper, the moss swine are by every metric the perfect prey. They're slow, they have no armor, they're not strong, and they have no speed to speak of, and yet they persist. So how in the name of the Sapphire Star have they not gone extinct by now?
How in the name of the Sapphire Star are they still alive?
The reasons are multiple, so here we go.
Has to be the burrowing, right? Is he gonna mention that?
Their choice of territory plays a huge role in their survival. The forests that they inhabit provide both tall trees and dense foliage to protect them. Their moss-covered backs make them blend into the undergrowth very well.
There you go, yep.
The trees themselves also stop airborne predators from swooping down and grabbing them right off the ground. Other predators like the Jagras or even Velociprey can hunt down these animals with no effort, and larger predators can do it without so much as a thought. But here's the twist, everyone. They rarely even bother. Moss swine fly so low under the radar that many predators don't even notice them wandering the area. And the energy it would take to hunt them is just not worth it when there's much larger and much more tantalizing prey around.
Kestodons, Aptonoths,
like this, and that just walking around. And in spite of this,
yes, quite literally, just walking around. No, like, actually, no joke.
Moss swine populations remain abundant. I can't decide whether it's a testament to their levels of tenacity, a high breeding rate, or their abilities to adapt, or just proof that sometimes nature just plays favorites. Honestly, I have no idea. So again, we return to the Hunter's Guide. Going forward, you will rarely be sent an official quest involving moss swine as a target. So when you do, I can almost guarantee that it's coming from the chefs. This is because the meat of a moss swine is a true delicacy to have. Their eclectic diet of fruits, mushrooms, roots, and truffles seems to infuse their meat with a depth of flavor that is near impossible to replicate. But due to it being so highly sought after, these creatures are only harvested for special occasions within the guild. Also, for any of you who decided to remain gatherers in the first wave of testing, I have a tip for you to make your work a lot easier. If you're out looking for mushrooms but you need to locate high-value ones, I advise following a moss swine. These
Oh
creatures
yeah,
are
for
quite
sure.
literally built to find such things, and their skills are second to none. Following them around and waiting until they bolt to a certain direction, where they stop, that's where you'll find the good stuff buried in the ground.
Yep,
And
yep.
yet again, here's another note
Yep.
to your journals, everyone. In the shadow depths of the forest, the moss swine teaches us that survival does not always rely on speed or strength, but on blending in, staying quiet, and knowing where to find the hidden treasures of the earth. The herbivores may not be the most glamorous
Fucking
subject we will be studying in this class.
Of course,
They
yeah.
may not wield devastating power, wield the elements as they see fit, or are the subjects of legends we grew up hearing. But I
Yeah.
hope I have made at least one thing very clear to you all. Each of these creatures play a crucial role in keeping and maintaining balance in the ecosystems we all rely on. Their simplicity is very deceptive, but their importance couldn't be any more clear.
For
They
sure.
deserve our respect and have earned it many times over.
Yeah.
And with that, it brings today's lesson officially to a close. Thank you all for
Aw.
sticking with me all the way to the very end. I truly mean that.
It's
I know
amazing.
you all have your
Fucking
reasons for
great
being
video.
here, whether it's just curiosity or taking your first step to becoming a hunter fit for the legends. I hope you all learned something here today. Maybe even a deeper level of appreciation for the creatures often so disregarded by many. But don't worry, we've only just begun our long journeys together. The guild has already sent me a task to prepare for our next class together. Looks like we're going to be examining the original trio of raptors.
Oh,
Until then,
cool.
everyone, stay sharp, stay curious, and as always, good hunting.
I love he's frantically waving. It's so cute. That is amazing. Oh my god. Dude, what a video, man. Oh my god. Azmeross. Dude, great video. Hold on, hold on, hold on. It autoplayed. Wait. No, hold on, hold on, hold on. Chill, 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 chill. Chill. Whoa, I saw an Oceana's upload. What was that? Honestly, bro, amazing video. I could not have requested like more. I could, bro. And obviously, what I love about this is, well, it's, you know, it's covering the more unglamorous facets of life that's roaming around, be it the plains or the undergrowth, the fucking undergrowth foliages and whatever might have you, right? Vegetation and mainly, no, obviously, as we have covered, herbivores. But I find it such a lovely video to present all this stuff because you are showing love to, like, you know, the more lower class monsters in terms, because usually when Monster Hunter discussions like come up, and obviously fair enough, right? You know, they're gonna be like, oh my god, you know, Alachion is this and that, and Rathalos is this, and oh my god, the Savage Devil Joe is this and that. And, like, you know, fair enough. We can just fawn over the cool ass monsters solely for the cool factor, right? And, you know, it takes like a lot less depth to like be like, you know, oh my god, this is really cool and whatever. And that's fair. That's fine. I'm not dissing on it. I'm not hating on it. I find stuff cool all the fucking time, bro. But I do like that you get more in depth with the herbivores on this one because it truly is fascinating how most of them in such a harsh environment, even like the moss swine and kelby, have survived for this long. For this long, bro. Like a prolonged period of time. Mind you, this is probably like, I don't know how much time happened between Gen 1 up all the way up to Gen 5 and Iceborne. But yeah, it's impressive, bro. Like, unless Wilds is a like actually new, I suppose that's a new whole new thing, right? I suppose. But either way, man, fuck, that's really cool. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been an incredible video, mainly for like my more like curious and ecological side. I'm like, you know, oh my god, what does this animal do? Why is that on its back? Why is the bone plate so thick? Probably for defense, this and that. It's amazing, right? It's amazing. It's really cool stuff. And you know, I got curious about this stuff, and I love videos that cover that aspect of like Monster Hunter because it really is incredible in its, you know, ecological designs. Because obviously the herbivores having thick bladed shells or having these like defense mechanisms. Not surprising. Hello, hello, Triceratops and the other fucking herbivores you could name out there that, you know, just either have like, you know, like be hit, let's say a buffalo or whatever. Or whatever might have you with horns, right? Usually if it has horns, it's probably a herbivore, right? Even the fucking like what's it called? Diablos. Not the bloodbath one, no. Like just the Diablos, right? Apparently it consumes plants as well. Not surprised it has horns. But then again, it could also just be for. Hold on, are they purely herbivores or? Because you can say they eat plants, but none was mentioned about eating anything else. Because someone could be an omnivore, right? Omnivore? Is that right? Omnivorous. Yes, okay. Sorry. Thank you guys so much for watching. This video has been amazing. Shout out to Armando for the... it was Armando, right? Let me check. Oh, I'm sorry. I do get like quite a bit of recommendations here. Oh, no. I'm so sorry. So, he did ping me on it, and he was like, yo, this would be an incredible watch. But shout out to Bowser64! Bowser, what are you doing? Are you a Monster Hunter fan too? Anyhow, shout out to Bowser64 for the recommendation. Absolutely incredible video to cover, as always. Please take care of yourselves. This has been Azmeross, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye!